diving into your divine fingerprint. But before we do this, I also want to talk to the hundreds, if not thousands of you that are doing the iFast with us this week. So we're going to talk about this. The conversation around ending chapter 3 and diving into chapter 4 is one of my favorite conversations, something that I talk about a lot. And so just so you know, if you're brand new, I would love for you to post new below. I would love to get to know you. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day you're watching this. And I would love to know if you're excited for a Monday. Our daughter, she's 15. She's walking on the treadmill this morning and she said this the other day too. She goes, you know what my favorite day of the week is? And I was like, what's your favorite day of the week? And she said, Mondays. I love Mondays. I love the thought of starting fresh and getting on a routine and getting things done. So my question to you is, do you love Mondays? Because if you're watching live, it's a Monday. If you're listening, we have a podcast called KetoMom Secrets. We're on Facebook called KetoMom, Instagram KetoMom Secrets, and YouTube, and I don't even know, wherever my husband puts this video. But I want to say good morning, good afternoon. Tell me where you're tuning in from. Is Monday your day, or do you prefer Friday? All right. I was on a Zoom and a live yesterday, and we were diving into something called our intermittent fasting kit. I like to take the mornings and work on mindset, but I just want to bring awareness to you if you missed it, if you weren't on the Zoom, if you forgot and you have your kit real quick, because we have a ton of people doing it with us. So I have my ketones this morning. My husband and I have been consistently intermittent fasting, honestly, probably since Christmas. And I'll tell you this, if you're here looking for tactical, like, okay, Stephanie, I love your mindset. I know that it's important to work on my mindset. I know it's important to read and pay attention to the environments and people that I'm in and around. Awesome. Here's some very tactical keto information for you. Number 1, in the morning, get up and drink a glass of water. Number 2, I want you to know that we have a really cool tool. I think an innovation tool, a tool that's going to help you go further faster. I was talking to a lady this morning and she's like, all right, Stephanie, I'm ready to intermittent fast. She goes, I actually think I'm already hungry. And I said, you'll be fine. Drink your ketones. We have electrolytes in there. You're going to drink your protein in a few hours, and then you'll dive in and you'll eat your lunch. I said, it's a lot of mindset, right? But if you just Google the power of intermittent fasting, hands down, if your goal is fat loss, if your goal is to feel better, if your goal is to conquer cravings, if your goal is to any type of health and fitness goal this year, if your goal is to overcome food, if your goal is to not have food control you, I would challenge you to look into intermittent fasting. I just want you to Google it. I want you to Google the benefits of intermittent fasting. If you have your kit and you're doing it with the thousands of us, we have a special group you need to be in, and I want to walk you through how to do it. So make sure that you're in the group. If you want to know more about intermittent fasting, just post fasting in the comments and we'll chat. If you're not in the group and you're my customer and you have your kit, just post group in the comments and I'll send you a message and we'll get connected. So I'm drinking my ketones. I feel amazing. I love intermittent fasting. I thought I felt great. And then we dove into doing this consistently for the last few weeks and I feel even better. So I want to help you with that, whether it's fat loss, cravings, understanding that food doesn't have to control you. That's one way we can start doing this. So drinking your water, utilizing the tools that we have, connecting in the group, watching the Zooms that we have, like utilizing not just the tools, but the accountability. All right? All right. So awesome. We're going to dive into this book. We're ending chapter 3, diving into chapter 4. One of my favorite conversations. I talk about it a lot. This is Pastor Keith Kraft. So if you don't have the book, you can grab it. If you want to just tune in here, I'm going to give you some takeaways or just something to think about throughout the day. You might be going, why are we reading books? And I'm going to tell you that there's 2 super important things to help you have success in life. It is the books you read, the people that you are around. It is you working on your mindset, self-development, the power of your mind, realizing that those 2 things, the books that you read and the people that you are around, actually play a factor in your fat loss. Right. And if you didn't know that, there you go. Now you know. All right. The end of chapter 3, not all he does, but he brings awareness to what shapes your life. So he says, your environments shape your life, your heritage shapes your life. I'm not going to read all this to you because he tells you a ton of stories, But he also wants you to understand, he wants you to realize that you can shape your life. You don't have to just let things happen to you. You don't have to just let the world and circumstances and people, and you don't have to let things just happen to you. So in chapter 4, I actually love this chapter already. He says, you need to understand the process called your think, be, do. I've said it on this page a different way, and I'll say it in a little bit, but he says this: how you think, how you be, and how you do in your life will determine what you have in your life. So if you are sitting here going, what do I want for this year? I'm super excited. Things are going great. We are one third of the way almost through this month of January 2023. Have you set goals? Are you creating new habits? Are you getting up in the morning? Do you have a different system you're working on? Maybe you started this diet, which I hope turns into a lifestyle. I love to say we're doing a lifestyle, but in reality, it actually starts with a diet. And then as you do it consistently over time, creates a lifestyle. And so he tells an incredible story about Michelangelo. I'm not going to read it to you, but how he walked through kind of his purpose in life. And he basically gives you some questions. So he says, why oftentimes people go, how am I supposed to create my life? I'm 40, 50, 60. I'm too young. I'm too old. It's too late for me. And he's like, no, that's not the case. Here's a couple questions you need to ask yourself. And then we're going to talk about think, be, do. He goes, you need to understand why you exist. He wants you to understand that utilizing your fingerprint to make you are a masterpiece, right? Exercising your 1% everywhere that you go. You need to start taking the first steps. Performance with excellence. That probably didn't make sense. But in general, what he's saying is, why do you exist? And what is it that you're doing to fulfill and that is fulfilling and creating the results for you in your life? What are you called to do? That's what this book is about. Figuring out you and realizing just because of an environment that you're in, although that plays a factor on who you are, or how you grew up, or the people that you're around, all of those play a factor in it. And yet you do too. The way that you think, the actions that you take, and what you're going after. So he has this phrase. He calls it think plus be plus do equals have. A way I've said it in the past is, as I think, so I feel, as I feel, so I do, as I do, so I have. If you've never heard me say that, honestly, I would memorize it, whether you write down think, be, do, have, or as I think, so I feel, as I feel, so I do, as I do, so I have. Because as soon as you have that awareness, and as soon as you have the understanding of your thoughts are things, your thoughts are powerful, they create the feelings and the actions that you do, and then ultimately it's the result of what you have. If you get to the end of this month and you feel like, oh my goodness, I haven't started anything, or I haven't accomplished what I wanted to accomplish, my days are not going the way that I want them to go, I want to challenge you to start with, what are you thinking about in the morning? Where is your mindset, right? And so he dives into think, be, do, have. I want to read. So he has a little triangle. He talks about the power of thinking, actions. How important are your thoughts? This is one of my favorite conversations. And I'm going to read this little paragraph to you because I thought it was super, super powerful. All right. So he says, one thing is for sure. Negative thoughts do not produce positive results. So if you got up this morning, that was not what I was going to read, but it's right before it. If you have questions, by the way, ask your questions below and I will come back on and send you a message after we're done. But in general, if you're sitting here and you're like not in a positive mindset space, you didn't work on your mindset this morning, maybe your Monday didn't go the way that you wanted it to go. First of all, you can change it. Remember, your morning doesn't have to define the rest of your day. All right? So listen to this. He says, picture this. Your thoughts are like a plane approaching an airport. Your mind is the control tower. The landing strip is your heart. And as the plane, your thoughts, begin to approach the airport, remember what the airport is, the pilot radios the control tower, that's your mind, and asks for permission to land. The control tower, the controller, that's you, is in the control tower, that's your mind, and you say no. The plane, that's your thoughts, is never allowed to land in your heart. The Bible says that as a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. And I loved that analogy of like, okay, every time a thought comes in, right? A thought's like a plane. The plane comes into your mind. That's your thought. Your mind and your body, you can decide if it's going to land on your heart, if you're going to say yes or no. Our girls are walking through this as like we had Eliza. She is 11. She asked me the other day, she's like, how, if I have a negative thought in my mind, she goes, Mom, if I have a negative thought in my mind, how do I get it out? Right? And so I said, you can either sit and dwell on it, or you can distract yourself. You can say a different phrase. You can pray about it to go away, but you are in control. You're either going to let it sit on your heart, you're going to take it in, you're going to dwell on it, you're going to let it control your day, or you can go, no, you don't get to land on my landing strip. You don't get to go into my heart. You don't get to define my day, who I am, how my day is going to, like my life, you don't get to. There are people and environments and things that are going to try to come into your mind, either create a negative mind space, ruin your day, create negative self-talk, whatever that looks like for you. And you have to say no. You have to decide no. And you might go, oh my goodness, Stephanie. That's me, by the way. I actually don't even know if I introduced myself. I'm so sorry. My name is Stephanie Milky. Oftentimes people message me and they're like, KetoMom, what is your name? In general, I love this conversation because I've realized the power of your thoughts. I have it every single day. I'll have self-doubt or comparison, and I have to say, nope, I'm not comparing myself to that person. I don't need to have self-doubt. I know how to switch my mindset. I know to take some time to breathe, to read. I know that I'm not in comparison with anybody else but myself. I know these things. I've been reading and teaching on these things for 7 years, and yet I still have to walk through them every single day. It's a choice. You choose to get up and go, I'm going to own my day. I'm going to own my thoughts. I'm going to choose what goes into my mind or what I allow to stay in my mind in my life. Or I can go, nope, I'm not choosing that one. Nope, I'm not believing that lie. We say I reject that a lot. Somebody said something to our daughter yesterday and she said, I reject that. I can't remember the phrase, but he said, and I think it was joking, but he said something and she was like, I reject that. I actually reject a lot of things. If people say things to me, nope, I'm not going to allow that. I do not believe that. I know it might sound silly to you, but it actually is super important. Your thoughts are important. And in this book, he's going to dive into thinking, being, and doing will create what you have in life. And so as you continue to go through the book with us, I'm not going to dive into any more of it because honestly, what I want you to realize just in this small amount of time is the power of your thoughts. You might have heard me say it many times. You actually have to hear things 15, 16, 17 times in order for you to stick in you. And so today, it's your reminder. If you've already heard me talk about the power of your thoughts, it's your reminder to pay attention to what's going in your mind, what you are accepting, and what you are rejecting. You don't need to accept or agree with anything that's negative in your life or the things that people are speaking over you. You don't have to. You can actually go, I don't agree with that. I'm not going to receive that. I'm going to switch that. How do I do that? You listen to good podcasts. You read good books. You listen to people online. You get around good people. You have an accountability group. Like, for example, this intermittent fasting group. You might have people in your sphere of influence that are like, listen, I can't believe that you're trying to lose weight again this year. Hey, this is your family. You'll never be that size. I'm just saying, like, people say this to their friends and their closest family, like, it's in our family. It's in our genes. You'll never, I can't believe, oh, you're doing that again. But when you switch environments and you get around people that believe that you can do it, know that just because you grew up that way doesn't mean it has to be this way today. Know that you've got people that want to empower you, believe with you, help you, guide you on this journey. That's the importance of an accountability group. Whether it's for your mindset, getting in a small group, being being a part of a church, or just asking some local friends to hold you accountable, getting in this group for your intermittent fasting, like whatever it is you're looking for, there are some incredible people that can help you along the way. I want to be one of those people, and I'm going to start with your mindset. I'm going to. Because if you can't get that under control, then the rest of your goals, as far as like figuring out whether it's financial or relationships or fat loss, you will get a negative thought, it'll spiral out of control, and then you will sabotage yourself and either have to start over or you won't start at all, or you'll just give up. So that's why we go through books. We will continue to go through more of it tomorrow, but today, all I want you to do is have an awareness and understanding and just honestly take journal or take some notes about what you're thinking about. Pay attention to everything you're reading, everything you're watching, even listening to. What is going into your mind, and are you allowing it to plant a seed, or are you controlling the things that you believe? Super important. Pay attention. It'll be interesting to know what you find out today, because there's so many things coming at you, and you might start detecting the lies. Oh my goodness, that's a lie. I don't receive that. I don't want that seed. Or you might have really great people around you. And you're like, oh my goodness, these are incredible people. Thank you for encouraging me. Thank you for telling me to read this book. Thank you. Because some of you are doing incredible. Some of you are like, I've got this mindset down. It's consistency over time where you'll hit your results or reach your goals. So, all right, this is the book. Thank you for tuning in. To continue to tune in to stories, check the KetoMom page for recipes. You can always go to ketomomsecrets.com. Click on recipes. You can click on book club. You can click on how to get started. You can click on trials or mom fuel if you don't have your intermittent fasting kit, or you just want to learn more about intermittent fasting, drinking ketones. We're going to have a Zoom later this week you can tune into, but also just post fasting in the comments or a challenge, whatever you want. I want to help you. So have a wonderful